Okay, thank you, everybody. It's great to see you out here despite the cold. I'll just hold the mic. So, as others have said, and I'm sure you have heard the bad news, Governor Gregoire has announced a special session of the state legislature starting on November 28th to address the $2 billion budget shortfall. And how is the governor proposing that we close this budget gap? Revenue. By making more cuts. That is right. It is bullshit. The proposed cuts to social services total around $815 million. That's right. This includes eliminating basic health and making major cuts to Disability Lifeline, which serves low-income adults. Some of the proposals from DSHS officials to the legislature for ways to save money include closing 4 wards at Western State Hospital. And these wards serve patients who suffer from severe dementia, mental health issues, and traumatic brain injuries. Cuts to education also represent a big chunk of the governor's proposed options, totaling more than $500 million. In Seattle schools alone, the total would equal around $365 million from K through 12. And she proposes cutting $166 million of state money to colleges and universities, which would completely eliminate the work-study program. Let's hear that again. Boo! This is absolutely outrageous and affects all of us here and more than those of us here. And once again, children, elders, and the society's most vulnerable are expected to make up for this budget shortfall with their lives? I don't think so. And as women, especially women of color, will be impacted if these cuts come down. And as a result, unpaid family caretakers, who are primarily women, will be stretched beyond the limit to help those who depend on them. Well, I have a message for the governor and state legislature. This so-called solution is unacceptable. These cuts are truly immoral, and we are not going to take this anymore. So the good news is that there is a groundswell of anger fueling a movement to protest and occupy the Capitol starting November 28th. Sisters Organized for Survival, the campaign of radical women that I coordinate, is part of mobilizing for this call. And this effort is being endorsed and coordinated by many community organizations and unions in both Seattle and Olympia. And we've certainly heard the support for it up on this stage today, so that's great. So Sisters Organized for Survival has a clear message that we're going to take to Olympia. 1, no cuts to jobs, services, or education, period. Solve the budget crisis by taxing Washington's biggest corporations and richest individuals. And the legislators must pressure the federal government to end U.S. wars and direct those trillions of dollars in military spending to fund jobs and services. Each legislative session, elected officials repeat the same refrain. They have no choice. There's no money. Well, I can tell you, that's baloney. This state has revenue that will not only plug the budget holes, but also give the state a surplus. Can you imagine such a thing? Yes, because all they have to do is follow the money to the wealthiest individuals and corporations. So let me give you just one example. Boeing made $10 billion in profits from 2008 to 2010 and paid no taxes. And that's just the start. Decades of these kind of giveaways are what created this budget crisis. So I think going to Olympia with a clear message and demands are very important because, believe it or not, there are still some folks who are arguing for any kind of revenue, even more sales taxes. More regressive revenue that makes the poor and workers pay for an economic crisis we aren't responsible for is not right. So in short, we all need to go to Olympia, all of us, and make these demands of the state legislature. Let's apply the energy of the Occupy movements around the country to defend the needs of the vast majority. We need to occupy the Capitol until our demands are met. And get rid of the two-thirds vote too. Let's add that to the demands. Enough is more than enough. Please join Sisters Organized for Survival, and brothers and everyone are warmly welcome too in Olympia, starting on November 28th. Together, we can stop accepting flimsy excuses from legislators whose allegiance is clearly to business and corporations. It's time to dump these pro-corporate politicians. Yes, and build an independent, grassroots, democratic movement of women and rank-and-file unionists and community activists to defend the poor and workers. So I'm in. How about you? All right. So let's see everybody in Olympia on November 28th. And if you have any questions or want more information, you can talk to me or go to our website, sistersorganizedforsurvival.org. So bring your friends, family, and coworkers with you. Let's let the 99% be heard. Thank you.
I'm just a little nervous. So no,